Oh, didn't see you there. Oh, what's up? Well, my name's S.I. Menace. This is my YouTube channel. Hope you like it. Alright, yo, what's good, y'all? By the title, y'all can already see, you know what I'm saying, what the video finna be about. Basically, if you new, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. Let's get straight into the video, man.
Social experiment that brings humans with opposing beliefs together. These discussions may contain viewpoints that are the result of misinformation. Remember to seek out experts and to be critical of your own biases while forming an opinion. Please see the humanity in each participant, and as always, we encourage empathy.
Masculinity is disappearing in America.
A lot of you niggas do be walking
that
around like
masculinity
bitches,
is
though.
disappearing. I think that it's a concerted effort to emasculate men. I think that some people feel threatened by masculinity and the typical way that men carry themselves, leading families and different things like that. So I think that there's an effort to mitigate strong men in America.
There's a few different ways to think about masculinity, but just looking at the definition of the term 50 years ago, you had people like John Wayne, you had Martin Luther King, you had Sean Connery. You think of like masculine features as in beards, hairy chest, big muscles, think stoic, being brave, being rugged, being a provider. Today you have people like Harry Styles and Timothy Chalamet. You have people that are completely contrary to what we were looking at back then, and those values of those masculine characteristics are completely devalued.
I do believe that masculinity is going downhill, especially if you look at like the testosterone
I believe that
levels.
shit a little bit.
Now the testosterone levels for guys is going down compared to generations before us. So yeah, I agree. Hi, I'm Gilbert. I'm 24 years old and I'm a conservative man. With my beliefs and having a trans man as my friend, we don't really talk about politics. Someone being trans doesn't make me like them any less of a person. As far as pronouns, when referring to my friend, I don't really use the pronouns that my friend would want. I just say my friend or I say their name, just because I feel like I'm giving into the narrative that men can be women and women can be men if I use the pronouns that they want.
I do see that masculinity is under attack completely, but my definition of masculinity, like you said, has a lot to do with the traits that are associated with it. As a gay man, I mean, of all of us, I'm not the most masculine man, but I do think that the good aspects of masculinity are definitely under attack, but I don't think that it's disappearing, it's just being channeled in different ways.
It depends on how you look at it, because a lot of the traits can also be embodied in women and femininity. So when we look at masculinity, I think that we have to also look at what is the actual definition of femininity and masculinity, and if we're defining masculinity by being stoic or muscles or body parts, then is it really masculinity?
A lot of times when you guys spoke about masculinity, you associate it with men being manly, but I think more women are embracing their masculinity. Masculinity is still there. I mean, just other genders are using it. To be courageous, being powerful. More women are standing in their power.
They are
which
trans
is again
men.
associated with masculine, but it's not specific to just men. Women are no longer submissive, they're dominant. Women don't need men, and I think that most of America is realizing that anyone can be powerful on their own.
I believe that
Nah, what he said, son tripping. Women definitely need men. Same way men need women. It just is what it is. I feel like it creates that equal balance, you know what I'm saying? Like the little yin and yang shit. However, guys might survive longer than a female would, you know what I'm saying? But you definitely need both, word.
Inherently in men, and men have to take a position. You made a really good point by saying women are now becoming more masculine. They feel as if they don't need men, which I think is the problem here. I think that the way we've been designed by God, in my opinion, is that men are to lead, men are to be strong, men are to be brave. Men have to take their rightful position. The way our country has been structured to this point have been because of strong men who have taken a stand, who have fought wars. Now I feel like it's getting so lopsided that our families are degrading people don't know where they're at in this country.
Now in 2022, masculinity is being redefined. And I think what happens is people get upset when things start to change. No, I think that nobody ever wants to take that away from men. I think that what we want to do in the world now is start to understand what is masculinity. And it's always been really associated with this very machismo space. And now there's different kinds of men in the world. There's not just biological men. There's also trans men or people who want to be
There's
masculine.
only men.
So
you like, you feel me, bro? You's a shorty at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? You's not a man, bro. It just is what it is. However, you may look like a man, but niggas use a woman. Use a woman, dog.
People are pushing against change because change is scary and people don't understand. And so I think men, biological men, feel under attack when I think that's not what's happening here.
The point that you made is 100% correct. There are different phases and people are experiencing in different ways. The feminist movement is, I think they are attacking masculinity within.
I ain't gonna lie.
I
ain't gonna lie though. These
door for me. I don't.
These dykes definitely do look like niggas though. I ain't gonna hold you. I need to stop saying niggas. These dykes do look like. These dykes do look like guys, men. You know what I'm saying?
Need a man in my life. I can do all of these different things. What they're doing is attacking men, and that's what's causing the problem.
What part of the feminist group feels like it's attacking? Because I know that most feminism is like wanting equal pay or...
Well, you just said that women not needing men is somehow empowering. You know, having a man is somehow less empowering, or being an individual is somehow less
But that's
empowering.
how women feel.
Right.
Women actually are saying that because that's how they feel. It's
But
as if,
that's not how every woman feels.
but
That-
no one's
that's just
saying
an
every woman.
assumption
They're only
of how
women speak for themselves. So
Right.
all of you are
Women
going to have
speak for
different
how they
opinions as
feel.
biological men.
Absolutely.
Women all have different opinions. Oh, you see a very specific group of women saying this.
Let me you did just say that's how women feel. So are you speaking on behalf of all
No,
women?
no, I'm not. Let me take that back. The women who are saying that feel that way.
Why do you
Why she
feel
getting
that
so emotional?
women in general feel disempowered?
No, I don't think in general. No. That's a generalized statement. You can't say that. I said
you're
the
the one
women. No, I
who
did
said
not. I
women
said the
feel
women who
disempowered.
say that.
You
You
associated
see how she
somehow
arguing? She not even trying
that
to talk.
women are
Just
now embracing
wait, shorty,
masculinity,
chill.
which means
Yeah, oh, okay. Pipe down, bitch. Pipe down. Do you want to fight? Do you want to fight?
that they are now more empowered because they don't need
They don't
a man.
need a man,
Or
right.
if they're
Men feel empowered when women need
But
them.
I don't think that women's empowerment comes from having a man or not having a man. So why is it always associated that, a woman's now empowered because she doesn't need a man? A woman has always been empowered. Women have never been.
But they've never felt
That's
that.
not
less
true.
I mean,
That's
if
not
we go
true.
back to the 1920s, if you're going to do
not
that,
true.
but that's not
But
what
of
we're talking
course,
about.
you
We're
have-
talking
Look
about
at the
society
female
right now.
spewing
Right
out of
now,
him,
you
bro. He
actually think
can't
women are
hide it.
empowered right now?
Absolutely, women are empowered.
Who's the vice president?
And how long did it take for her to become a vice president, though?
There is a right and wrong way to be a man.
It's a good question.
Take a second
Let me
to
skip
think
this
about
side
it.
real quick. Hold on.
And Target.
Shut
You
the
can
fuck up. All right. Well, I seen
I
the
think
question,
that
right?
when I originally heard the question being asked,
Shit. There's, I don't wanna, there's definitely a wrong way to be a man. And those dykes over there are the example of that. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Simple.
I didn't agree with it, but men are not abusive individuals. Men are not to be cowards. Men are to lead their families. And men who do not display that, I don't believe that they are men, in my opinion. And all of the qualities that I see in my father is what I believe a man should be.
All of those characteristics are what make a man. And when I see a man be a coward in the truth, in just speaking the truth, or sticking up for what's right, especially today in America with everything going on, I'm like, those are not men. My name is Clarkson. I'm 24 years old, and I'm a conservative man. My biggest question for the other side really is, are you happy? Anybody that wants to fundamentally change society and change gender roles, to me, that's not happiness. And if we want to fight for acceptance, we need to start with acceptance, which is accepting society for what it is.
And that's that. I like him. He a cool dude. Which is, I agree with what he said. You feel me? At the end of the day, like the facts is, you even in this world as a man, or you in this world as a female. And it just is what it is. There's no ways around it. Now you can even liking the opposite sex is different. You know what I'm saying? You just got a fetish. You feel me? For example, he's a conservative man, but he gay. Clearly he gay. He ain't say he was gay, so I'll take that back. All right, we don't know if he's gay. I'm assuming he might be a little, he might be attracted to men. Now, if he is, that's a little different. That just means you just like the opposite sex. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's your little fetish. But you thinking that you a female, like you thinking that you're a girl when you are not a girl. That's a little different. You're a man. Right there, that's just something. I think personally, that's some little mental shit. You feel me? That's just my opinion.
At the end of the day, we're all men, and
nigga, no, we not. Take that shit back.
Any wrong way to be a man.
I slang wood.
We're
you don't.
Redefining what it means to be a man.
You don't slang
there
wood.
Are things that naturally come to men. So when you say we're just redefining what being a man is, you have to understand you're redefining a fabric in society that has kept the human race and got it to where it is today. So just like aimlessly throwing out,
she won't roll her eyes.
What it is to a man. That's not just like a light subject that we should be talking about.
But why do you think it has to stay the same?
Yeah.
Why do we need to have the same thing for hundreds and hundreds of years?
Do you not see the state?
It's not the same thing. It's just keeping the same qualities.
But do you see the state of our world today? It's not perfect. It's been led by men like throughout all of history, and look where it's gone.
So, we're talking about redesigning what it means to be a man. So, what do you want to bring to traditional men?
I think it's embracing that you can be vulnerable. I think that a lot of men want to portray strength, but men are people, and I know that men have feelings.
Being a man and masculinity, those are two different.
See, I think with that statement right there, I think men know that they can be vulnerable, however you want to say vulnerable or whatever, however you want to like put it into when using it. But I feel like yeah, men know when to be. Men are vulnerable, and we know when to be vulnerable, but we know when to be vulnerable and who to be vulnerable with. You feel me? Or whatever time. You dig me?
Things, and I believe that we can redefine whatever that means to anybody by including other types of men or other types of masculinity. I myself am a father. I have a child. Some people would disagree with me being a father because I am transgender.
Your mom.
Being said, I present to the world as a male. My child sees me as a man.
There's proper ways to
act like a dad,
right?
but you're a
you
mom.
don't have to break down in front of your family and cry. It's okay to suffer in silence as well. Strong men, I believe, exude the qualities that you guys are referring to. I think the problem is overcorrection, right? Some people believe that men need to cry and lay on the ground and be feminine like women. My name is Brandon. I'm 34 years old, and I'm a conservative man. I had a lot of curiosities about what it's like to be a person who believes that they're a trans man. I feel like God has created all of us very uniquely, and although I have beliefs and I follow the Bible to the T, I still want to know from other people what their experiences are. Doesn't mean I have to agree, but I really want to know what other people are feeling from the person who's experiencing it real time.
I have male privilege.
Oh, sit over.
I've lived both lives, and I can tell you firsthand that it does exist. I am taken much more seriously in my career since I've transitioned as a man. Prior to transitioning, I would work just as hard, if not harder, for the same position and not be considered. The minute that I transition, I am immediately taken more seriously. I can give you an example. Obviously with COVID, there's like the mask mandate, right? So I have to tell customers all the time, it needs to be above your nose, right? I do that all day. My manager who's above me, who is a woman, will have to go to them, tell them they give her a fight. But the minute
I ain't gonna lie, this shit really is kind of blowing my mind though. The fact that these females dead ass got full beards, like, that's crazy. Like, they dead ass look like guys. Like, that's wild.
It doesn't seem like a privilege, but it is, because now my manager has to work 3 times harder for something that's so simple.
I think the word privilege is the thing that turns a lot of people off with this conversation. But that being said, again, myself living my life as a female, pretty much half my life, and then now half my life as a man, there is no way I could not be honest about the fact that my life has changed drastically. Also being a white man, that's also a conversation a lot of people don't want to have. But I have privilege of being white and privilege also of being a man now. I can walk into any room and command that room in a heartbeat because people.
You still had the same privilege when you was white as a female. But you still a female, you just look like a dude.
People just do that with men. And I think the thing is that biological men are born into that space, so they'll never ever see it. Why do we now, as women who have become men, get to have this thing? It's 100% because we are men. We look like men. Nobody would ever know. No one would ever know that we used to be women. So
yo, you know what's so crazy? And then now I just thought about the question, right? Like, yo, like, everybody has privilege, but just in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys have privilege, same way females have privilege. Like, we all have little privilege. You know what I'm saying?
it's actually a real lived experience.
So I agree with a lot of what you all are saying as far as like transitioning. But as a black man, privilege looks way different for me, because if I'm walking down the street, then I'm seen as a threat by police, by women, by anybody else. Being seen as a man is where my privilege stops and where everything else begins. So I don't see it as privilege.
Okay, I got a lot to say about this topic here. And first of all, I mean, we have to be transparent and honest with each other. You know, I think that not everybody on this side presents 100% like a man. Like if I saw you in the streets, I wouldn't think you were a man. You know, men have it really hard in this world, and they've always had it hard in this world. The wars have been fought by men. They've died.
She got tight that he
men
said
commit
that.
suicide more. Men work more of the dangerous jobs. You know, if somebody broke in this place right now, who are they going to expect to defend everybody in here? It's going to be the men. If your family fails, they're not looking at your wife. They're not. They're looking at the man. You know, I just want people to understand that there's some advantages that men have, and then also men do struggle in custody and all kinds of different things in society.
I 100% agree with you as a man now, right? But what I think my perception of it is different than yours, because you were born male, you were raised male, you have a whole other space in that, and I totally respect your opinion on that, and I believe that that is a true lived experience as a born man.
Yeah, and let me add with the black man, because we have a total different reality in that. I don't, in no way, form, or fashion do I go into a room and I feel like I'm less than. I think I command presence when I go into a room because the way I'm dressed, and I'm tall. I go in the streets, I've never had a person cross the street. I've never been attacked by a police officer. I was a police officer. You know, I've been pulled over probably 3 times in my entire life.
I mean, my biggest question with this and why I don't necessarily agree with it is because when it comes to privilege, there's not really a way to quantify it. It's very subjective. So like your version of male privilege and your version of male privilege are very different.
So it's hard to see the other side because you never lived it.
Yeah.
The difference between you and us is we see it because we've lived it. You have not. So it's easy to speak and be like, well, it doesn't exist. Well, how would you know?
Well, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I think everybody
She
has
needs to
certain
relax. She
privileges,
needs to
but
calm
what
down.
I think the question here is what defines male privilege over women, because women have privileges too. Right. So is there a graph that you guys are calculating to make men have more than women, or what?
The privilege is not acknowledging what you have that comes so easy.
So do you think that your fear, because you live both sides,
Right.
do you think your fear is something that you have in your mind, or you think it's a
No.
reality? Because
No.
let me say this: you never really changed as a person. You're the same person
Right,
that you were.
exactly.
So you have the same physical capabilities that you did
No.
when you were a woman.
No.
You don't.
My strength is entirely different after
Well,
taking
what
hormones.
percentage would you say?
More than 100%.
Nah, yeah, they take
I
pills
weighed
and
like
shit
something
that
like
like-
pounds,
but you're
now I weigh
still
like
not-
130.
you're
I ain't gonna
not-
lie, that's a fact.
Probably as strong as me.
But it's
Hell
not
no.
about strength. It's that
Or-
women are targeted. Men are not targeted. I mean, maybe sometimes. I'm not saying it's never going to happen.
They're targeted by other men. Most of the
Right.
homicides
But women
occur
are
in this
targeted by,
country are
by other
homicides
men. I think women have less of a safe space. That's
I
what I'm
disagree.
talking about.
Men don't have a safe space. If you go to certain
But I'm talking
cities,
about a
they
specific,
get murdered by
okay, but
other
I'm not
men
talking about certain cities.
more
I'm
so
talking
than
about
women.
everyday life.
Yeah, every day.
Not
I think
certain
that's a
cities.
blanket
Have you ever
statement.
been attacked as a woman?
I have.
I have been pressurized by
I've been
a-
raped, I've been attacked, I can go on and on and on. I was homeless, living in the streets, raped all the time. It happens, it's a real thing. I didn't see the guys on the street getting raped, but you
But
go.
men do get raped.
100%,
But we're not
but the
making
experience of
Do you
course,
get
the kids are-
catcalled down the street? Like,
I mean, women say things to me. When I was
But
a
do you
police
feel
officer,
do you
feel
feel
scared of
threatened?
them?
You feel empowered though, right?
no, I don't feel empowered. I feel that that's
But do you feel
disgusting.
scared? Do you feel threatened when a woman
But I
catcalls
don't-
you?
No, I don't. And
Okay,
I don't feel threatened if a man
Right.
try to challenge
Because you have
me.
that male privilege.
Right. As a woman,
What if,
it's
what
different.
if a man was whistling at you when you were walking down the street?
I've had it happen to me. I had gay men whistle to me,
Then how does
but
that make you feel?
I don't care.
Okay, cool.
I mean, as long as you don't touch me, we cool.
Right.
I know you may
Yeah.
think I'm attractive.
Right, and
That's
I
fine.
think-
That's cool. I get it.
think women will say the same thing as long as you're not like trying to be predatory. And I've seen it because I go to clubs with my friends
I
who
get
are
what
girls,
I get what
and
the,
I have
I
to
get
tell
what
the
the
men
girl's
to
saying
literally
though.
leave them alone because
I get
they
what they're
keep
saying
going.
as
And they're
that part.
predatory, and they're literally scouting out for women that are drunk or whatever, not even drunk. She could say no 1,000 times, and they're still gonna bother her. But the minute that I say something, they stop.
Women are not as strong as men, and they get targeted. Sure, yes, that is a privilege that men have over women, but that doesn't mean
Do
that
they still got
men
female
have
height?
privilege because of that one situation. Men commit suicide way more than women do.
Because if we're going to go that route, trans men commit suicide twice
right,
the rate.
but
The fact that women can get preyed on, you know, there's situations where this happens, right? Like no one's going to deny that. But we're also just trying to say that it's not like a one-sided coin here, where there's like men are just, you know, we just have it good and we can do whatever we want.
I do not believe that's true.
We can't even be the next Supreme Court justice because you know it's like.
But you know, I live as a man, so I see the difference now.
Yeah.
When I said I have privilege and I walk into a room, of course, but then there's other things that are expected of me now as a man that I would never knew were expected of me.
So would you guys agree that there's such thing as female privilege?
Oh, sure, 100%.
My wife has privilege because she has me.
That's right.
So she don't have to worry about her
Right
safety
on.
because I'm there.
I don't believe that as a man, it's like, you know, there's marketing for women-owned brands. I can't be the next Supreme Court justice. Like women are very much more empowered today, which I think is, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, like, good for you. But I think that the man I probably have privilege because I'm, you know, 6 foot 210. Like no one's picking on me when I walk down the street. You know, I used to live in Chicago and I used to walk home all the time at night, but like, was that smart? Probably not, but I felt a little safe because, you know, I'm not 5 foot 100 pounds. I'm Max, I'm 29, and I'm a conservative man. In today's society, women and men can be whatever they want and be as successful or as strong or as big of a leader as they choose. So I'm just wondering, in a society that is so seemingly more level than ever before, why are we transitioning to different genders to find, and what are we looking for?
Biology determines gender.
So, sex and gender, people try to argue that they're different, but sex and gender actually go hand to hand. And our biology, being a man, comes down to every fiber within our body. So whether that be DNA, chromosomes, testosterone levels, bone density, there's a whole bunch of different factors that go into it, and it all has to do with biology.
So biology, I 100% believe in biology. Today we talk about biology being a social construct. I disagree with that as a transgender person. I was born biologically female. I always acknowledge that, and today I live as a male. Now that being said, sex and gender, they are trying to separate those things. Gender can be, I've chosen my gender. As you see, nobody would, I think, probably understand that I used to be a female. Now, many people do.
I get what she's saying.
That sex and gender are one thing, and you can never change those. I'm not trying to change anything. I'm trying to show the world that this is how I feel by presenting the outside. But I think denying biology is where we get into a lot of problems.
If you want to be, you know, seen as a man, then like,
right on.
Who are you to? I don't care. I mean, you do you.
I get
whatever
that.
makes you happy. But I think like
I kinda get that a little
it
bit.
becomes a slippery slope. It's like, how are we going to deny basic human facts? Like, there's two
I think that
genders.
causes problems, and it causes problems for me.
Yeah.
Because the minute I start denying your biology, now you feel attacked by me. Right. And I don't want you to feel attacked by me. I never want you to feel, I want to be a part of, if that makes sense. You don't have to agree with my choice of how I live my life, but all I ask for is respect.
What do you have on your driver license and your birth certificate?
Right,
Did you
great,
change it to
great.
male or did you change it to?
So that being said, I transitioned to live as a man 29 years ago. So that was way before you see any of this stuff. And I had to acknowledge my biology, right? That being said, my license, I travel the world. It has to say male. Can you imagine if I showed up at the airport, they're like, female? Dude, there's something going on here. But I actually got my birth certificate changed to male. I was the first person to do that here in Los Angeles. But that being said, I kind of think that it might have been a mistake to do that now, looking forward today, because I never thought we would be having this conversation.
I'm glad you said that because I love that people can express themselves. We live in America. It doesn't matter what I believe, what my religion is. I love that people can live their best life. I'll never, ever in my life protest or try to go against a person who wants to identify. The problem is when you begin to try to change language and you begin to try to change reality, and then therefore it changes on the children, and all of that becomes problematic. If a person says, okay, I acknowledge I'm born as a man or a woman, but I want to identify as this, cool, I respect that. And even if I didn't want to see it that way, and some people may be a little more ambiguous, I wouldn't never disrespect you. I'll call you by your name.
That's right.
Whatever name that you want to be associated with, I'll do that. And I think if everybody in the country can get on that same page, I think we'll see less division.
I've noticed in a lot of the trans individuals that I've met, the older generation who had it a lot harder in society to be accepted is a lot more willing to have the conversation.
We didn't have social media. I didn't have cell phones. I didn't have computers when I transitioned. This is how you build bridges. I'm Buck, I'm 59 years old, and I'm a trans man. Because I'm an elder trans man now, and there's a much newer generation, there's a definite space where I have a different way of being than the younger generation, and why I tend to call myself a transsexual man. And I believe in biology, I believe in binary, so it really does not necessarily align with a new thought process that is happening with the newer generation.
So, biology does change. Our bone density does change. Our muscle structure does change. Our testosterone levels do change. So biologically, we do change. Anatomically, now that's where surgeries come into play. So when we're talking about biology and gender that can't be changed, our biology absolutely and concretely changes.
Not the DNA.
But our
DNA does not change.
Yeah, right. DNA is not going to change for anyone.
So you acknowledge there's a biological difference between males and females, because some people on the other side would say there's no difference. Like a female, like I could look like a girl, not having testosterone, but I'm still a male.
Some people are male, some people are female, chromosomally. But when we start to take testosterone, our bodies do biologically change.
But what about trans men who don't take testosterone?
Then their bodies don't biologically
That means then they're
change.
biologically still female, right?
Well, and gender in itself is something we get to choose. Okay,
That's right.
just like you said.
Well,
right?
in your life, you get to choose. Not
That's
you don't
right.
get to choose it for the world, but you get
No,
to choose it for
I
your
get to
life.
That's
choose
right.
my gender because I've been on testosterone for 10 years. Okay, going on 11 years.
But there's some anatomy that will never change.
That's right.
Right? I mean, you still have ovaries. You still have
Yes.
the female reproductive system. You
Yes.
said that you had a child.
Yes, I've given birth. I no longer have female reproductive organs.
Right, but you had that. You will never get male productive organs.
Now, when you think about it, the male and female productive organs are similar, and they're nearly the same. They're different.
Right.
They're different in size.
Even if
Okay, biologically,
And they're different in
in
functionality too.
Not necessarily,
Well,
because the testes and the ovaries
What is he
are
talking
very
about?
much similar. One is
I said he, my bad.
an
What is she
egg, one is
talking
a
about?
fertilizer,
But
and
we
that's
can
the
never,
difference.
but I never can produce sperm.
You're absolutely
ever,
right.
ever.
You're absolutely right.
And they can never produce ova.
And you guys are saying that gender is like a social construct. Is that what you're saying too, that you could change it? But also, if you want to be technical about it, age is a social construct, your ethnicity and race is a social construct, and I'm Hispanic. I can't say I'm Chinese because I like Chinese food. I could bleach my skin all I want. I could wear Chinese clothes.
No,
That doesn't make me
race is
Chinese.
not.
It's a
How
social
is
construct.
ethnicity going to be a construct?
There's all social constructs.
So
We all
how-
agree
how-
on it.
how
if you look
exactly-
Up, if you look up, is race a social construct? Ethnicity a social construct? Is time a social construct? Right. Everything's a social construct if you want to think about it that way. But we have set truths and we can't change those truths. If you want to say you're trans man, that means you're a biological female that thinks that
No,
you're a male.
I am a biological male. I'm an anatomically.
See, he's gonna have different
I'm
version
still
of it than- and
right.
I think it's really important that you
right,
understand
and,
we're all
and,
gonna
and
have
it's
different views.
anatomic, okay?
Yeah.
Because biologically, I have shifted. Okay, trans meaning going from
Shut
one
your
to the next.
bitch ass up.
Biologically and all these things.
You's a female. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're a woman. You think you're a man. You may even feel like a man. But you are a woman. Ho.
I know that there's importance for you guys, but meeting me or seeing me, you would never know. So why is it important?
See how she trying to raise her voice?
Just
say if I was a
curious.
woman,
I am
just say if I was a woman
Budget
and I wanted to date
Shut
you.
your ass up.
What are
Somebody
you
hit you
gonna
hard
tell
enough,
I
you
will
can go.
tell you that I'm trans. What do
It's
you
a
No,
mean?
I'm
fact.
saying you can't tell me that you're a man.
I mean, I'm still a man.
No, but
I'm
you
a
got to tell
transgender
me.
man.
You got to tell me that you were born a woman. You have
I
to.
mean, I don't have to.
Well, because if I go down, if I see
Right.
you in your pants,
Right.
I'm gonna see something different, and that will be troubling to me
Right,
if I
but,
had an
but
expectation.
again, this is like leading off the topic, but I mean, to answer your question, if you must know, I do tell the person that I'm talking to or interested that I'm transgender. I don't think that you need it to, you don't need a penis to be a man. I know that you may disagree, which is fine, like I get it, but I don't want one.
Now, I have a question for all of you. Do your penises make you men?
For the most part, yeah, nigga. Like I said, I get to sling wood. You can't. fuck.
Yes,
Well, it's
biologically.
part of our-
Like,
it's
no,
part of what
that
makes
is,
me a man,
is
yes.
that what makes
Well, I
you?
said being a man's ingrained
It's a
within
huge
every
part.
of your body. So our cells, our
Right,
yes, our
but,
penis too.
but if you
someone goes
had
to war,
to if you had to look at the difference between us and between you, now would that difference be the lack of a penis?
If we were naked,
Okay, so
it would
if we're
be-
gonna minimize being a man to that particular anatomy,
we
I've
didn't-
got
we
No,
didn't
no one
minimize-
said-
I'm
one said
asking the question. Okay, if we minimize it because this
Dang,
is where
yo,
we're
she
going
kinda
as
getting me
anatomy,
tight.
right? Because that's where we've gotten.
Our basic
Okay,
biology, yeah.
so if we get there, so do your penises make you more men than us?
It's
It's
part of what
not making more or less. It's
Bro,
we're
yes,
we're a
bro. Like, they
biological
trying to be
man.
all like,
You're not
yes,
a biological.
you can't
it's not a
sling wood.
spectrum, so
You
it's
can't
not,
sling
not
wood.
a question
You
that we can
can't.
answer because you're saying on the spectrum, would this make us
can't-
more of a man
just
than
can't
you? But
sling
no,
wood.
it's because we are a man and you guys aren't.
Well, we're different.
So
man.
we're not men.
We're
Is
different.
what you is exactly what you just said.
In
Yes,
my
you're not a
view,
man,
you guys
bro.
are appropriating the gender,
female.
and you are living as a man, but biologically you are not a man. So to me, it's not. You can't say, okay, well, what does
got
that
a
make us more of
penis,
a man?
no
That's not even a
vagina.
question to ask because you're not a biological man.
What's the biggest problem with what he said? It doesn't make you. It doesn't make what you feel any different. The biological truth is the truth, and why can't that be the truth? And you also say, but I feel like on the inside that I'm a man and I'm going to present that way.
The argument is that people try to invalidate who we are with that. I'm not saying that you guys are doing that, but a lot of society in the world does that. Well, biologically, you're female. What hurts trans people that people don't realize what they're doing is it's very harmful. You got to be aware of what you're saying.
See, that's the female in you. Your feelings. You're just all about feelings. It doesn't feel good. I don't like the way it feels. It's feeling. All right. No one cares about your feelings. The facts is, bro, you're a fucking girl. All right. You are a girl. You will never be a man. You are not a man. However, you might look like a man. You might think sometimes you can act like a man, but at the end of the day, bro, you was a female. You was born a female. Alright? It is what it is. Accept it for what it is. We not talking about feelings. No one cares about how you feel. Alright? Nigga, I feel like I shouldn't have to work a job ever. But do I have to? 9 times out of 10, probably. I'm be homeless on the street. Like, you feel what I'm saying, bro? Like, come on now.
What you're putting out there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, 100%. I would, and that's why I think we all agree. We would never try to offend you or anything like that. To be honest, if I saw any one of you in the streets, I don't care. It's not going to bother me that you want to.
Right.
I would know unless I pulled your pants down or something. Wow.
Exactly. See what he just said? And I want to make that. I don't got nothing against nobody. Gay, bi, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you are. You all human. You all humans at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we all humans. You know what I'm saying? But we not gonna argue the facts, bro. You're not gonna argue facts. Guys are guys, girls are girls, and it is what it is. And the fact that the world keep trying to make it seem like it's not, and all this extra shit, it can be changed, is fucked up because we gonna have kids, and kids gonna think that this is the way, this is the normal. Like, it's not normal. That shit is not normal at all. And
Do
that's
you
just
feel
my
like you have
opinion.
to
I don't give a
present the
fuck
way
about
you
how
do,
anybody feels.
Facial hair.
Word.
Could you
Right.
be a man without having facial hair?
I mean, yeah.
Because you feel like you're a man.
I'm in the early stages of testosterone. I haven't hit 1 year yet. But personally for me, I crave, having a full-on beard like these fine gentlemen and you guys all like, I crave it, But I do believe not having this little small peach fuzz I have going on, it does make me feel more dysphoric. It makes me feel like, oh, this is how I presented before transitioning.
Do you feel like it's something that has gone wrong at birth? Like, you're born and you say, well, genetics and evolution says
Right.
this. Why do I feel like this,
Yeah,
yet
I mean,
I have
I
this?
think questioning it was something that I always wondered because sometimes when people say it was a choice, which I hear a lot on the other side all the time, it was a choice. I was legit born this way. I could remember from, I think, 4 or 5 years old where I didn't feel like a girl, you know what I mean? And I can't tell you why that happened. It was just my path in this life. And it's something that I honored. And, it was really hard for me to continue living, especially when puberty hit.
All right. With this whole transgender stuff, personally, I really think this shit is like a mental disability. And I know that might shock some of people, rub people off the wrong way. I don't mean no disrespect behind it. I just think the reason this shit might be so mental because it's think of a person with split personality disorder, or you ever watch that movie Split, right? where there was a female inside of him, right? Where he thought he was a female. And I think sometimes he might have dressed like a female, and that female, like, you know what I'm saying, came out of him or whatever the case is, right? I feel like it's kind of like the same shit. It's like mentally there was something that went wrong to where it's like you feel like there's a male inside of you, or you feel like there's a female inside of you that makes you feel like a female. I feel like motherfuckers could give you medication or some shit like that to stop you from feeling that way, personally. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, that shit's not normal. It's not normal. Like imagine me feeling like I'm a fucking dog, or like I'm a baby. Like, you ever seen those videos and shit like that?
An adult baby is somebody who enjoys dressing up and acting like a baby, and it could be as young as, you know, you want to be a 6-month-old, or you can go up to 2 or 3 years old. It's whatever that feels right for you. I associate most with being 2 years old because I think it's the best of both worlds. You're young enough to still be able to use a crib and a bottle and diapers and all that stuff, but you're also still old enough that you can get around on your own and talk and tell people what you want.
Why is this shit not a disability, bro? That shit's not normal, bro. You are not a nigga. You're a female, bro. You're not a guy. You're just not a guy. You wasn't born a guy. You're not a guy. You feel me? But I guess I don't know.
Time of month comes in, obviously anatomy changes, like, and that was the biggest thing for me, where I knew that, like, okay, I can't do this. It's like you're not in your own home.
Children should be allowed to transition.
Hell no.
Well, I was gonna say, I find it very interesting that you and I are the only ones that stepped up, especially since we're younger. And
you should allow children to feel what they feel, because I felt the way that when I was younger, I wasn't allowed to wear boys' clothes because that wasn't right. Now I know we're talking about transitioning. It doesn't always have to be hormones. It's like transitioning in society, so being able to dress more masculine. Yeah. I did when I was younger, but as I got into middle school, kids change, people are mean, so you know, I dressed how I would in society, so I dressed like a girl, whatever, but I think that children should be allowed to express themselves in whatever way makes them feel comfortable.
Yeah. Kids are struggling to be who they are, and there's more rates of suicide.
See, that shit is touchy. I really feel like no. Like, I feel like no, you're a kid, and I feel like as an adult, you're supposed to sculpt a kid in a way that's in a way that you could do the best. But I feel like we shouldn't just let kids roam around free, wearing whatever they want, or like even saying whatever they want. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I just don't agree with that. Like, you're an adult, you know what I'm saying? You're a child, yet you're innocent. So it's like a lot of shit you really don't even know what's going on. But it's like, you shouldn't just let kids be able to fucking say, I wanna wear a dress. I wanna put on a dress, and I wanna wear a tutu. I wanna wear a tiara. That's what I wanna wear. You shouldn't be. No, hell no. Because nah.
For trans individuals, because they're like, there's literally being laws put in place to prevent them from being who they are, and that's not right. That's not right.
Okay, so I work with children. This is where I have like the biggest problem with the trans stuff, is with the children, because people, like, I'm sure you guys would agree, you want to inject them with the hormones to stop their puberty, their normal puberty. They haven't even developed their prefrontal cortex yet, and you want to stop their natural puberty from occurring to affirm their gender, and then later on they regret it. I think that's not a good thing.
See, that's why this is a loaded question, because transition can mean many things for children. Now, I totally, as a transsexual person, disagree with giving children hormone blockers, medication, surgery, but what I do agree with is socially transitioning, which means because I did that, okay, and I did that in the 60s and 70s. My parents dressed me like Buck, I was a boy, you know, I didn't have any problems because I just lived, we used to call it a tomboy, right? So that was totally, and I went through puberty and I did all the things. I do not believe children can make those choices, and I do not believe it's okay and ethical for a parent to make those choices for a child. But I do believe gender dysphoria exists in children. I had it, 100% it's there. But to give medication to a child is so unethical to me that you would actually, you're exactly what you said, you're stunting brain growth, you're stunting all of these things. They don't have enough research on it. So I'm in agreement with transitioning medically for children is not okay for me, but I do believe in a social space.
Positive father figure.
This is good.
Yeah.
I think for me it's surprising, because I would believe that a woman or a person who's born as a woman who now identifies as a man didn't have a positive role model as a man, and therefore they felt somewhat insecure as a woman, which makes them, feel a certain way and want to be a certain different person. Maybe they want to be the man that their father never was, or whatever the case may be. And so it was very interesting. I mean, being honest, it was interesting to see pretty much a majority of you guys come forward.
That's so great. I think that's really important that you say that, because I do think a lot of people probably feel that way about guys like me, right? That our fathers we didn't have the right upbringing or what. My father was amazing. I grew up really like a little boy. I always felt like a little boy. My parents actually raised me, and I'm 59 years old. So that was in the 60s and the 70s when we didn't even talk about this kind of stuff. But my parents actually felt it from me. So I think that that's a misconception that people think about people like us.
Any good father pushes their child to feel self-love, and to feel like they can be who they want, do what they want, and have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Like our founding fathers. And so it's fatherlessness, or having a missing dad, is a pandemic in its own, and it's one that obviously I'm sure Brandon can attest to. It's so critical to have a father in the house, because kids get lost when they don't have one, and having a father that's loving and strong and someone you can rely on is the reason why we're all comfortable with who we are.
I had several different father figures in my life. So it wasn't, I had a dad, but then I had my grandfather and I had my uncle. It takes a village to raise a child, right? But all of those different perspectives raised me as a well-rounded human. If we take the masculinity out of it, just as a human, I got to see different perspectives. And so now as a father that has given birth to a child, and that child being a male, right, I'm able to raise him with those same ideals that I'm able to identify because of the father figures that I had.
I didn't have my father growing up. He was not present in my life at all. So it showed me that some men can step up, like my grandfather and my stepfather, who have taken me in and showed me how to take care of myself, how to be, strong and dependable. And all I've been able to do is give more love to all people that I interact with.
Right.
So it was really important for me to have those figures.
I think this is a really important thing to show people that are watching this, because a lot of times I feel like we can blame any issues in society or anything that arises on the generation that came before us. So any issues that arise in our society, it's like, there's not always a reason why it's happening. We just need to address the issue and solve it.
Thank you, everyone.
Right on. Thank you.
That was cool. That was cool.
Thank you.
All right, well, that's it for the video. You know what I'm saying? If you're brand new, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Again, I want to make sure everybody know I don't got no problem with anybody, you know what I'm saying? Whether you gay, straight, orange, blue, purple, I really don't care, as long as you're human, you know what I'm saying? I don't got nothing against anybody, you know what I'm saying? I know fucking dykes, I know gay people, you know what I'm saying? I don't have no issue with anybody. But if I did say anything, that, might have took offense to some people, yeah, that's pretty much it. Y'all be safe. Y'all stay dangerous. And I'm going to see y'all when I see y'all, man. Peace.
I managed to make it through it all. Hot stop, supposed to shine when the screens be dark. They wait for me.